It is a serious issue.
What is a serious issue? But do you want me to say something that I shouldn't say in court?
Well, he wants his fundamental rights to be enforced in his
There
court.
are, everybody has fundamental rights in this country.
But you take a
including
concrete
including those who on the streets you vilify.
They are also wrong.
So then that's all right. Then you should apologize for them.
Yes, Mr.
So let's not, let me argue the case, please.
They are not
Mr. Sibal, I
not
think the case,
represented.
sir.
Mr. Solicitor,
I, Malad, at the outset stated that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India.
They say your first petitioner has said something which are not in sync with.
But I'm not concerned with that. If the first petitioner has said something, if he has said it, in what circumstances he says it, is it recorded? You ask him for an affidavit. I have nothing to do with it. There are two. Hold on. Let's not take time on that. One second. Let's not take time on that. I am not standing for him for what he said if he said it. I'm not here.
Mr. Sibal, do we take it that Mr. Lone, therefore, unconditionally accepts the sovereignty of India and that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of it?
He is a member of Parliament today. He has sworn to the Constitution of India. He is a citizen of India. How can he say otherwise? And if anybody has said it, Malad, I, at my level, deprecate it.
No, it is one thing for Mr. Sibal to deprecate.
Let's not go into an issue.
A litigant before your lordships.
Ask him to file an affidavit. Then I have nothing to do with it.
No, but it's your client. You have to ask.
I don't know. You are making an allegation. I don't know.
Not support terrorism.
Let them reflect on it.
If you don't mind, take it on the pleadings. Ask him to file an affidavit. I may not appear for him. I don't know, Manoj. What have I have not to answer what an allegation that is made.
Because Mr. Sibal, when he invokes the jurisdiction of our court under Article 32 of the Constitution, he therefore necessarily abides by and owes allegiance to the Constitution.
And he's a member of the Lok Sabha. He is sworn to the Constitution of India. He's a citizen of India.
One second, Mr. Solicitor. But that's one second. That's a submission, Mr. Sibal. But we want to have it from him that he unconditionally accepts that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India, and that he abides by and owes allegiance to the Constitution.
Of course, he has sworn to it.
Terrorism
and became a member of the Lok Sabha. He swore to it.
Mr. Sibal, because then when you argue and you accept, as far as sovereignty is concerned, you accept the sovereignty of the,
of course.
Number one, the people of India. Number two, that J&K is an integral part of India. When you argue, your client says something outside the court, something different to it, there's contradiction. And probably then, he's also accepting there was an issue and a problem which had to be dealt with.
If I start, Manoj, recounting...
No, I'm not saying that. So be clear on that.
Manoj, it will unnecessarily lead only, Manoj, to a media coverage. Let us not go that route. We are arguing a pure constitutional issue. Manoj, there is a speaker of the BJP who was present there when this allegedly happened. There are some people who asked him to say something which he did not say. Why do you want me to go into all this?
No, please go into it. I have no difficulty. Lord, there is
it is not part of the record. It has been withdrawn. It has been deleted from the record. It is said in the... What is all this? It was said in the assembly, the BJP speaker was there. It was speaker not of his party. The BJP speaker was there. He was asked to say something which people ask other people to say on the streets of this country. Why do we want to go into this?
No, we would insist, you must go in.
Therefore, we accept.
Of course, but unconditionally.
We proceed on the basis that he's willing to file an affidavit before our court saying that, well, he owes allegiance like every other Indian citizen to the Constitution of India, and that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of the country.
Lord, I'm sorry for the interruption. Another aspect, the affidavit mentions that in all public speeches of petitioner number one, he supports separatist elements and other elements. Let him say he does not support secessionism and terrorism. No citizen of this country can have any objection in filing that affidavit.
There's another petitioner, Justice Masoodi. There's another petitioner, Justice Masoodi. Please allow me to argue.
No, that's
Justice Masoodi. You want to take any action against the gentleman, you take action.
Unfair to us.
Please don't derail a pure legal submission.
We'll hear you for Mr. Lone as well. There's no difficulty.
He wants to have it.
He has come to our court. We are more than duty bound to hear his submissions, and we are in the course of hearing his submissions. All that we want to say is, like everyone else here, because we have had people from across the political spectrum in Jammu and Kashmir who have presented rival viewpoints before us, different perspectives, which is welcome. That's why we are here to resolve those issues. But all of them have come here in one spirit, which is that they abide by the integrity of the...
You cannot be a member of the Lok Sabha and be a member there without abiding by the Constitution and an oath of office that I abide by the Constitution of India. He has to take that oath because he enters the Lok Sabha, as we all do.
That's what.
And there's an affidavit filed there, Malaj. How can that be? But be that as it may, Malaj, I did not know of this fact till this morning. Somebody
Just ask him to file a short affidavit before us, a one-page affidavit. That's all that is necessary.
Lord, we are given a copy to Mr. Sibal's client. Lord,
We'll give the affidavit. There is no, question, Malaj. I would not stand here. If he doesn't give it, I would not stand here arguing for him.
So before we close the argument tomorrow, just ask him to file a one-page affidavit. That's all that we require.
Yes, and I would request Mr. Sibal to insist to his client that no citizen would have any objection in saying that I do not support terrorism and separatist activity. Let him say that. Or say that I will not say this.
What is all this?
Which he is supporting.
What is all this? Well, we will certainly, Malaj.
I'm sure Mr. Sibal will.
So we'll convey this to him and he will file a short affidavit.
Malaj, had I known this, I would have myself...
What affidavit?
Anyway,
Will you allow me
tomorrow?
2:30, half an hour is lost just on this.
Mr. Sibal, yes.
It's not just on this, Madam. It is a serious issue.
What is a serious issue? But do you want me to say something that I shouldn't say in court?
Well, he wants his fundamental rights to be enforced in this
There are
country.
everybody has fundamental rights in this country,
But you take a
including
contrary
including those who on the streets you vilify.
They are also wrong.
So then that's all right. Then you should apologize for them.
All right. Yes, Mr.
So let me argue the case, please.
They are not
Mr.
Let me argue the case, sir.
Mr. Solicitor, we have indicated to Mr.
Your
Sibal,
Lordship
let
have
him
indicated
now open
to
the
me.
argument.
I have made a commitment that there will be an
Yes, Mr.
affidavit.
Sibal, you open the argument now.
Yes, please. So, Malas, this case has been argued at different levels.
Yes.
And Malas, I was somewhat pained when one counsel argued that we respect the sentiments of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, but you must also respect our sentiments. Now, Malas, I think that we cannot reduce this case to an emotive majoritarian interpretation of the Constitution of India. Whereas all residents in Jammu and Kashmir are citizens of India, they are as a part of India as anybody else. If historically there is an article of the Constitution that gives them certain rights, Mullahs, they are entitled to defend that as a matter of law.
Yes.
That those rights may be taken away, may not be taken away, constitutionally or without reference to the Constitution is another matter. But to say that you must respect our sentiments as if they are somebody else itself is creating a kind of chasm that shouldn't be created, especially in court. That's number one. Number two, Malats, and I adopt Mr. Salve's argument, that we are concerned with the interpretation of 370. Read the text, understand the context, and interpret 370. I entirely agree with that. And that's exactly what I'm going to do before your lordships. Number three, Malaj, if you look at the history of India in that context, Malaj, you will find that Jammu and Kashmir had no links with the rest of India. Geographically, no links. No part of the territory of Jammu and Kashmir was linked to the rest of India. And the two principles on the basis of which accession had to take place was contiguity. You have to be contiguous. That's how states like Junagadh, Hyderabad, many other states which were within India could never accede to Pakistan because that principle could not be established. So you had to have contiguity, and you had to have population. These were the two principles. And the decision, the third, was to be taken by the ruler. These were the three principles on the basis of which accession took place. Factually, Jammu Kashmir was not contiguous to India.
How do you say that?
Because, it is Radcliffe, when he came and he made the award, he gave Gurdaspur to India. That's how we got contiguity. That's part of the Radcliffe Award. Of course, Radcliffe, when he came, knew nothing about India. So you might appreciate, what were the forces behind it. And Firozpur was a district connected to Gurdaspur, which had a Muslim majority population. Firozpur was also given to India. That established contiguity. That one historical fact, Mullahs, your lordships may note. And it's part of the records, Mullahs, of the case. The second grave issue that was confronting India at that point in time was Greater Punjab was Muslim dominated, not the bifurcated Punjab. The majority population was Muslim. If you gave Greater Punjab, or what was Punjab at that time, to Pakistan, their boundary would reach. And if India got all of Punjab, our boundary would reach Lahore. Neither Pakistan would accept it, nor India would accept it. These are historical, this is a historical background in the context of which the fate of Jammu and Kashmir was to be decided. Note another fact. Jammu and Kashmir had a constitution, a detailed constitution of 1939, which had an administrative structure like any other democratic structure, except that the Praja Sabha was dominated by Dogras. In fact, all the nominees in the Praja Sabha were Dogras. Sheikh Abdullah, who had an egalitarian outlook, was dead against the ruler and therefore was imprisoned. There was a popular movement in Kashmir against Harish Salve. Sheikh Abdullah and Pandit Nehru were of the same bent of mind, because Pandit Nehru also showed utter distaste for the concept of rulership. In fact, it was Sardar Patel who said, we must honor our constitution. Nehru said, no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't give anything, no privy purses to the ruler. That's all a part of record of history. That's why when the invaders came into Jammu and Kashmir, Nehru said, release Sheikh Abdullah first. And he became the interim prime minister. He then was made a member of the Constituent Assembly of India to negotiate the terms of the details of the accession. And remember, the constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, like no other princely state in India, no other, I say, was drafted after 1950.